Week 6 buy lows at the wide receiver position. These are the players that you want to buy low. Group by specific things like bye week out of the way. Huge advantage. Injuries or on a bye right now. Underperforming players. And then CeeDee Lamb. These are the buy lows walking into week number 6 at the wide receiver position. I don't want to hear, you can't buy CeeDee Lamb low, Smitty. I'm telling you, I'm so good. My league is so good. We play in a shark league, Smitty. There's no buying low on these players. I'm tired of hearing this. Not to mention, all you got to do is look in the comments. Wait about an hour or two and then read the comments and see what trades people are making. The world does not revolve around you, Steve, from accounting at the TPS report shop. Let's get into it. The Fantasy Football Show buy low, week number 6, wide receiver edition begins right now. All right, let's start off with CeeDee Lamb and get it out of the way and just say that, look, Lamb Chops is not somebody you're going to get for pennies on the dollar. He's not somebody that's going to be even remotely cheap, but he should be cheaper than he ever could be or will be later on. The door's open to maybe make a trade. Why? Because people that own him are either winning or they're not winning. Or they're struggling and they've won, or maybe they're struggling now. Point is, if someone's winning with CeeDee Lamb, they're probably less likely to trade him. They're not hurting. They're like, I'm going to wait. Once Lamb gets going, I'll be fine. I'm already doing well without Lamb. Imagine what I'll do when Lamb gets going. That's their mindset. So if you're in a league where someone says, I'm not trading Lamb, and you come back to me and go, Smitty, Lamb's not available, that's because of that scenario. But in leagues where you have Lamb Chops and you're not winning, you're probably worried. Those are the people we are striking in terms of a trade offer, cooking something up. You go to them, you see if you can put together a 2-for-1. You see if you can bring them a Kareem Hunt because you don't need them, but you grabbed them because you're smart. And you've got a wide receiver that's playing out of his mind right now. Maybe you're trying to get rid of Garrett Wilson on the high. Now, there's some reasons to buy Garrett Wilson coming out of yesterday's news that Nathaniel Hackett has been removed, or really today they confirmed it. Nathaniel Hackett's been removed from play calling, and the passing attack is now going to change. Hackett's been a problem. And now Garrett Wilson's got ability to potentially get what he's supposed to get, the target share. He is definitely a buy low candidate as well. Hey, Bob, how about Godwin and Kareem Hunt?
For CeeDee Lamb.
Hey, Bob, how about Godwin and maybe a Josh Jacobs? How about a Jordan Mason and a wide receiver that's playing very well? Let's call it a T. Higgins, okay?
For Lamb.
What about sending a Brandon Ayuk and a Kareem Hunt, or a Brandon Ayuk and a Brian Robinson Jr.?
For Lamb.
Have to pay a bigger price tag than that? Are you playing with actual sharks? Okay, Steve, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you about your big, strong league. Let's say you had to give up Jordan Mason and Brandon Ayuk, or Jordan Mason and maybe a Jaden Reed, or potentially a Godwin and Jordan Mason. Something like that could get this done. I'm telling you, I see it every hour, on the hour. People DM me, Smitty, you're right. I didn't even think. I asked and he did it. I just sent him a trade offer expecting him to counter, and he gave me CeeDee Lamb. Do you know how many people DM me literally daily about my Jordan Mason video or my Josh Allen video? Or the other videos where I say go and buy low on Tyreek Hill, go and buy low on Achane, go and buy low on Kyren Williams, go and buy low on Bijan before he becomes something of a bounce back. I think here against Carolina, he showed up as questionable on the injury report, but we do believe he will play. I'll update you, of course, if that changes. But these are players that are easy to buy right now, and people assume they can't get them. Do you know how many people message me and say, Smitty, I had no idea I could pull this trade off? You think people won't do it because your league's special, Steve. We get it. Stop. Just stop in the comments. We're tired of hearing it. I'm not even going to reply to you. It's a boring conversation. Go get Lamb Chops. Go do it live. Throw a lot of offers at somebody. If you don't send out at least 4 or 5 offers per owner, so if you're going after Lamb, 3-4 offers for Lamb Chops, I don't consider you attempting to go get them at all. These guys are bye week free. They've already had their bye week. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown coming off an injury. A.J. Brown is a little bit of a question for people, I think, and they're tempted to trade him. Trading for a player that's already sat out a bye is very hard because the owner's like, I just endured a bye week. You think I'm going to trade him now? But it all depends on their record. If someone's got 1 win or 2 wins and they have no RB, then that's how you're creatively looking at whether this is a good deal for this owner and you. And that's, you got to get in the mindset of the person. If you just go offering running backs to somebody that doesn't need running backs, like, here's Jordan Mason. You're worried about Jordan Mason, maybe. You're trading him for A.J. Brown, maybe even straight up. That's fine. I Smitty approved that. If you need a wide receiver and they need a running back. But if they don't need running backs and you offer Jordan Mason for their one wide receiver where they have a shortage at the position, they're going to look at you and go, you're not even looking at my team. Like, you got to have some knowledge coming into the negotiation. So if you think A.J. Brown can't be traded coming off a bye just because you wouldn't trade him, that's where the problem is. You need to let that go. Because if this owner needs RBs badly and he's got 1 or 2 wins, he'll forego I need to hold on to Brown because I had his bye week and I endured it.
Motion detected at the front door.
Go take a stab and understand that you're going to get some no's with Lamb, Brown, and Smith, just depending on the situation. Neighbors may not play again this week. Oh, Smitty, we know. No one's trading Neighbors in your league. Move out of the way. I'm talking to the people that are absorbing this information. Neighbors missing another game if the owner's 1 win, 2 win, 3 wins in might say, you know what? It sucks, but I'm worried about this concussion. Maybe there's something bigger going on. People are freaking out, and there's some worry about that. There's going to be a little bit of risk because this is quite a bit of time he's still enduring, effects of this concussion. He landed. Most players get concussed and they're on their back, and you see the fencing where their arms lock, their fingers lock. And it's a fencing defense mechanism by the body. It's brain damage. A concussion is brain damage. That's what it is. It's not a head injury. It's brain damage. And he suffered brain damage and was down face first on his hands. So people are like, he wasn't in the fencing position. He was on his hands. He was locked. His body was still locked up. So this is pretty serious. But I'm still buying low at every turn. Of course I'm going to buy low at every turn. He's a young kid. He's going to get over it. It's just a matter of they want to make sure he doesn't have another concussion while still in a concussive state, because that's what Tua's enduring. He is so easy to concuss now because he got concussed when he was in a concussive state. They sent him back on the field, remember? So I buy Neighbors for sure. I buy him low. This is a top 5 wide receiver when he's back on the field. And I think maybe you don't get him for much lower than like an 8 to 10 wide receiver value, but you can get that right now. Tyreek Hill, and this is the injury or on a bye week group right here. In some cases, injury and coming off a bye week after this week, which in Cooper Kupp's case makes him a great buy low, because not only has he been injured and you're not really sure where his status is at, right? He could maybe miss another game. You don't really know, but the word is he's expected back after this week's bye week. So there's some ambiguity around his availability after the bye week, and he's on a bye, which is a double nut kick to the owner of Kupp, and Kupp might be a top 5 to 7 wide receiver once he's back. He's a great buy low. Puka Nacua is a little bit behind Cooper Kupp, but every week we get closer to him coming back, he'll get more expensive, so you have to balance the scales on that. Like, do you get him now versus later? Nico Collins, he's on IR. He's out 4 weeks. You got to be creative in how you get him. Use bench talent you may not need, right? You got a really good bench where you're sitting there deciding between guys each week. Who do I play? I got such a good amount of depth, right? You picked up Kareem Hunt. You can't even use him. You've got a wide receiver that's playing really well that you can't use. Let's call it a Godwin. Let's call it DJ Moore, or let's call it a Jamo Williams, who's bye week free. That's another advantage. Zay Flowers and a Kareem Hunt or something, and you're not using either one of them. You give somebody who has him out for 4 weeks, Zay Flowers and Kareem Hunt, and they need a running back, they'll do the trade. 8 times out of 10, I would guess. If you've got Kraft and you also have a guy like Laporta, who's bye-week free, and you were astute enough to pick up Kraft. Now Kraft and a player like Godwin that you're not using, let's say, or Amari Cooper or Kareem Hunt with that tight end that is a starved position on the market for Collins. Home freaking run. And then, of course, Tyreek Hill on a bye, comes back, doesn't have Tua for at least one more game. Probably Tua's back after that, everybody is assuming and reporting. Look, Tyreek Hill is a top 5 wide receiver once Tua's back, and everybody's kind of like letting go of the idea that he'll ever really be the same because there's so much, cloudiness around the situation. But this is a great buy low right now. Coupling different things to go get Hill in the same way I told you to go get lamb chops, but you're going to get him a little cheaper than lamb. Marvin Harrison Jr., these are the underperforming guys. MHJ, I think people know he's capable of being a top 5 to 10 wide receiver, but they're also worried he's going to be sporadic and finish outside the top 15, even though he has cups of coffee in the top 10. I believe he gets better as Kyler Murray and him connect more and build that rapport, get on the same page. Look, he'd have like 15 touchdowns already this year if Kyler and him were on the same page. That's how much volume and target share he's got, and that's how many touchdown targets he's got. It's crazy when you look at it. Like, Marvin Harrison Jr. should have way more stats than he has. They'll get on the same page. He's a generational talent, and he's every bit as good as Neighbors, and his situation is better. So let's hope that Kyler can get on the same page with him going forward on a consistent level. Olave, look, Rattler just said, I got to get him the ball. Plain and simple were his almost exact words. So he's going to get him the ball. I'm a little more excited about Olave now. I would say he's probably him and Odunze are the two guys on here I'm the least interested in, but they're definitely guys I'm interested in. Garrett Wilson, I could put like right here as well and be probably least interested in him of the remainder of the guys. Dell, I go get Dell, but it might be hard to get Dell right now. Make sure he didn't get dropped on your waiver wire because people have been talking mad shit about this guy all week long, all month long, all season long. He's ready to rumble with Collins out 4 games minimum. Tank Dell time. It's Tank time. Do it live, Tank. Worthy, look, he scored, but people still doubt him. He's too small. He's not going to get enough target share. Mahomes is trash. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter if he did pretty good last week. The team wants to get him involved. They want to get him involved. They had a turnover on a drive where Mahomes' ball got tipped up by Juju and intercepted and returned for, 40 yards, whatever. Horrible play for the Chiefs. What do they do the next time they're in goal?
Motion detected at the front door.
What do they do? Ziggy, show me the front door.
Okay.
Sorry about that. What do we do? What do they do? What was I saying? What did the Chiefs do next time they got in goal to go? Instead of doing some safe run, they hand the ball to Worthy. And they really want to get this kid involved. So I love Xavier Worthy. Buy him low. Debo, everyone was very excited about getting him back, and he doesn't deliver the production that they had hoped for, and they're ready to just write him off. And Ayuk has a phenomenal game, and everyone thinks, after 1 week, everything's just back to Ayuk's on top and Debo's down here. Give me a break. They will rotate some, no doubt about it, but this is one of the better buy lows in all of fantasy football at the wide receiver position. This is the wide receiver 1 in fantasy that no one thinks is a wide receiver 1. Absolute best buy low in fantasy right now. Absolute amazing buy low. And I do like Odunze a little bit. I think he ramps up as the season goes along, but he's more of like almost a throw-in right now. So make sure you buy him appropriately. Those are my favorite week 6, before week 6 kicks off, wide receivers to go get. And buy low, understand that in some of these cases, you can buy low. Like Debo, you can buy pretty low. Nakua, you can buy pretty low. Nico, definitely buy low. Tyreek Hill, buy low. Neighbors, not so easy to buy, but you're buying them lower So calm down with these aren't buy lows. Lamb, you shouldn't be able to get Lamb at the price tag you're getting him, even though he's still going to cost you a pretty penny. It's an open door to trading for him. You look at Jamar Chase. How are you going to get Jamar Chase right now? You're not. That's the point. Buy low before he becomes untouchable. Now get out of here. Don't forget that I've got a Patreon that's 24/7 live chatting. $10 a month, cancel anytime. That link is also in the description of the video and probably in the live chat. And it's patreon.com/thefantasyfootballshow. Now get out of here.